wanted to say thank you for it's the first time I've done it, so I'm a bit nervous.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous at all. Don't worry. I'll help you through it. You just need to know what you want to know from me.
If you could introduce yourself and tell people a bit about you.
Not a problem at all. Hi, I'm Scott Parker. 34 years old. I've spent the best part of 20 years in the food industry. At the age of 21, I was named head chef of Midsummer House in Cambridge, which is a 2 Michelin star restaurant. I've spent probably the last 10 years in food retail, working 5 years in the UK for a company called Oscar Mayer. So I was developing ready meals for Waitrose, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, all of the big retailers. And then for the last 5 years, I've been living in South Africa, where I work for Woolworths. And my role here is product development manager, culinary innovation, for basically the whole area of food. So I have a team of 15 chefs, and we get the joy to play around with different ingredients and different concepts and get to present back to the business. So that can include cafes that we have here and a food services outlet called Now Now, which is a very exciting sort of fast food chain that's similar to Leon. So every day is very, very different.
So where did your love of food come from?
So I started loving food, I suppose I was 12 years old, and my mum's second husband, with my stepfather at the time, owned a pub in Oxford, and we used to go up there every weekend and spend time at the pub. And instead of messing around, we got stuck in, rolled our sleeves up and did some work. And I've got two brothers, and they enjoyed working sort of the front of house as waiters, and then I just enjoyed being in the back of house and doing the washing up and being in the kitchen with the chefs and just seeing this amazing stuff. Like you'd see whole fishes coming in and big cuts of meat, and they'd be braised down or cooked down or filleted, and I just loved seeing the transition of seeing raw ingredients turned into something completely different and something that you obviously customers are paying for and enjoying, and it just gave me that sort of need or want to learn more about it.
So when you were in Oxford, sounds silly, but did you like going to McDonald's and places?
Did I enjoy going to McDonald's?
Yeah, I know you're into healthy foods, but were you into healthy foods when you were younger?
No, I suppose I wasn't. I didn't really think about it much, to be honest, when I was younger. Just sort of wanted to eat and eat as much as I can. I think over the years, sort of developed, more of a keen interest in what's good for you and what's healthy for you, and what food can do for you. I think as a lot of people know, I've just written a cookbook called End Your Carb Confusion. The cookbook comes out in April, which I'm very excited about. And I think that for me, I partnered with a guy called Dr. Eric Westman, who is a world leader in keto and low carb dieting. And the exciting thing for me is food can obviously excite and delight and change someone's day and make you happy by having a great meal, but actually more importantly it's used as modern day medicine to be able to lose weight to an extent where you can reverse type 2 diabetes. It's something that's quite close to my heart. Going through a couple of health scares myself, is that what can I do to inspire and help others through food? And I've always done it sort of that inspiring delight, and cooking 2 Michelin star food's fantastic, but actually what's more important to me now is being able to create and cook food that can change people's lives for the better and make sure that they live long, healthy lifestyles. And I think, and I hope that's what the book will do. It's got over 100 recipes in there that ranges from everything from starters, soups, salads, Sunday roasts. So there's a bit of something in there for everyone.
So how do you get Michelin stars? I know Gordon Ramsay's got a few.
Good question. Yeah, what a great question. So I think look, first and foremost, the Michelin stars get awarded to the restaurant at the time. I worked for Daniel Clifford, who's still there now today, and he's still got his 2 stars there. So I was his head chef, and it's awarded to the restaurant at the time. And your question is how do you get them? So, you know, you get reviewed, you'll get people come in and they'll eat at the restaurant, they'll assess it. It could be as many as 14 different assessments, so 14 different people coming in at different times. Then, you know, they're looking for consistency, making sure that the food that you serve is consistently good. You know, great seasonality, perfect cooking techniques. So there's a huge criteria that you don't actually know what it is. You just got to hope that you've got it right. But more importantly, that, you know, when you're cooking at that level, is that you're cooking great food and your customers are coming back, and that's more important than any accolade. Is, you know, you've got to have money in the bank and the restaurant's got to be profitable. You know, and alongside that, when you get accolades, that's just fantastic. It's sort of the icing on the cake.
What do you think of restaurant chains such as Gino's got a few, but they seem to have all closed down? Do you think you should just have one good restaurant or make that good instead of having lots of restaurants all over the country?
I think it comes back to consistency. You know, if you're able to open up 10 or 20 restaurants and you consistently do it really well, I think, you know, then good for you. That's fantastic. That's, you know, spreading more good food around the country. But yeah, ultimately what a lot of people come unstuck with is where they go from one really good restaurant because they're giving it all their focus and attention, and then they scale and they spread themselves too thinly. And, you know, staffing is a real issue. To get good quality staff consistently across the board is very difficult. And when you want to scale and go into multiple outlets, you need to make sure that you've got the right people in the right places. So, you know, it all depends on what your goals are. If it's very difficult to I mean, not impossible. I think only Robuchon and Ducasse and, you know, the really top chefs are able to roll out restaurants all over the world and still retain and keep Michelin stars. It's a very difficult thing to do.
I've got a strange question, but if you were wanted to be on reality TV, would you do like Hell's Kitchen or something? Would you like to be in charge of chefs?
I think I'd like to do something where it could create and inspire other people. I think the days of yelling and screaming at people in a kitchen are long gone. As much as it makes for good television, I think it doesn't really stack up in the modern day world. That, you know, people obviously have this fear factor, and, you know, for me, I want to promote the hospitality industry as best as possible. You know, it's given me the most fantastic career to date, and, you know, the days of shouting and screaming in kitchens are long gone. So to do a reality TV show and do that is, like I say, as much as that looks entertaining, it's actually hard going on the people. So, you know, something that would probably put more of a positive spin on the industry, and the avenues and the doors that it can open would be more up my street.
So you said you're working with supermarkets to make ready meals. Do you
That was
think they're a lot healthier now than they used to be? Because they've used to be described with a lot of sugar and salt, and that's about it.
Yeah, so certainly in the UK, there's a huge sway. The FSA guidelines, which are specific guidelines to reduce sugars and salts going into ready meals, and there's a huge steer into. I mean, the convenience meal market is huge, especially in the UK. And, you know, for different reasons that people add sugars and salts as preservatives and to make sure there's longer shelf life. That's certainly over the last 5 to 10 years made a massive change. You can see that with the likes of Sainsbury's and the Oh My Goodness range, or Waitrose. I don't even know if they've still got it, but the Love Life Calorie Control and Love Life You Count. And I think even with the vegetarian and the vegan meals that are coming out, there's a huge sway to reduce sugar and salt and to create fresher meals, in comparison to that old TV dinner meals that would last a couple of months in your fridge.
I've had ready meals, but I always felt guilty that they were unhealthy.
Some probably still are, but you certainly can find healthier ones now.
What do you think of a lot of people go vegan for January? Do you think that's a good thing?
I think people need to understand why they're doing it, that we do have a social responsibility to eat less meat. And I think my stance on that is that while we have a responsibility to eat less meat, we also have a responsibility to eat better quality meat, you know, responsibly farmed meat, free range, organic. the feedlot beef is actually, causing most of the issues. And, and diversifying on what you are eating. Don't eat pork and chicken, every day. Change it up. Use the lesser knowns. Buy into venison, use forgotten cuts, buy into sustainable fish if you're still after that protein source. There's a huge variety out there, especially in the UK. The market for fish is fantastic. And just make sure that you are looking at that sustainably. I think, the fact that everybody stops eating meat for a whole month is not going to change the world. You've then causing an issue in January that there's more cows sitting in there ready to be slaughtered. So like I say, we need more of a sustainable approach. It needs to be something that's going to be all year round, and that people can start building into their diets. And within that is focusing on eating better quality and diversifying in the proteins that we are eating.
I've seen a lot of pictures of you in the gym trying to keep fit. Do you think that's important as well? You've got to eat healthy, but exercise as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, I wouldn't recommend to anybody just to jump into it straight away and doing 7 days a week, but I would recommend to people that, living a healthy lifestyle, going to the gym as, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and just build it in, and it becomes part of your lifestyle. For me, I do it an hour a day. It's my way of finishing work, going to the gym, checking it out, clearing my head before I get home. So I don't bring anything from work home, and I can just keep a clear head and then spend time with my family and make sure that I can give them the best version of me, and not something that's a hangover from work, and there's baggage and things that need to be dealt with. So yeah, it provides me with some good mental clarity and a good break between my work life and my home life.
Do you think healthy eating, exercise is good for mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, they go hand in hand. Keeping your mind clear, making sure that you've got something that you're focusing when you're healthy, when your body's, feeling good, you're looking good, and that can give you the confidence that you can carry in and take into other things. I've always felt that, especially when I'm traveling for work, if I'm not able to get into a gym, I almost feel a bit groggy and, almost more tired and not as sharp as I need to be. And I think, that's certainly something that I've built into my lifestyle. So try and maintain it whilst I can. So I think it is very important for someone to realize, and exercise can come in many different forms. You don't have to be in the gym, whether you're going for a walk or a cycle or, playing tennis. There's a lot of benefits from it. I've played rugby for a long time. I do CrossFit now. So I've met a lot of my mates doing it. I think it's a really great social way to meet people. And, when you're playing in a team, there's, good things that you learn about, other people and management. And yeah, I think it's important to learn those things, and it's important to pick out those things that you enjoy. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a team sport. You can learn all these lessons through other sports as well.
So how hard is it to get, obviously it's very, well, healthy cooking's a big industry. So how do you get a cookbook published in a crowded market?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think, the partnership with Dr. Eric Westman was the catalyst for it. He published a book 2 years ago called End Your Carb Confusion, basically debunking what carbohydrates are and then what they do to the body, and how we process them, and really just sort of just laying the land out for people to understand better what carbohydrates do, and that how some people can process them, how others struggle to process them. And when I sort of met with him nearly 15 months ago, we've identified a gap that while the first book is done phenomenally well, a lot of people struggle to translate that into the reality of cooking, and often become sort of overwhelmed when cooking healthily and need a bit of a steer. So identified that was the gap really, and then the recipes within the book sort of came naturally. It had most of it is stuff that I've cooked over the years and I've just adapted and tweaked to make healthier, to reduce the carbohydrate level, and just make sure that it's sort of like family favorites and things that I'd eat. I mean, there's stuff that I certainly eat day to day. You know, Sunday roast, how to cook a perfect roast chicken and a perfect roast leg of lamb. You know, that all of those recipes are in there. So it's it's something that I think that, you know, you don't necessarily have to be on a diet to buy the cookbook. I think there's something in there for everyone.
And you can buy your book when it comes out on Amazon.
That's it. Yeah. So it's available now on pre-order on amazon.co.uk. End Your Carb Confusion, the cookbook. And then we will be in bookstores in America as of the 26th of April. And if you pre-order now, you'll get your copy delivered to you ready for the 26th of April.
And are you having some kind of big launch for it? Or
We'll see. It's a bit up in the air at the moment because I'm obviously in South Africa, and most of the bookstores in America all the bookstores will have it in April, and the bookstores here in South Africa will only get it in June. So it seems a bit like the timings are off, but we may see if we can throw something in there. And then I'm having a baby in May, so there's a lot of stuff going on.
so, Sam, I think that's about everything.
No, just what an honor and a privilege to be on your first podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've never done it before, so I'm nervous.
No, you've been brilliant. Some really, honestly, really great questions. Yeah, and you kept it moving quite nicely at a good pace. I think it was really good. Sometimes these can go on for too long and people lose interest anyway.
Oh yeah, 2 hours. One of them was.
Sure.
So thank you for helping us.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for having me on, and good luck with the rest of them, eh?
I think you'll have to try and get you on again when your books come out.
Great. Yeah, no, I'd love to. Love to.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers. Thanks, mate. You too.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.